please explain us for the people that doesn't know about PEMF, what it is.
So the PEMF is a pulsating electromagnetic field. What it helps is open up all the microcirculation in your body. I have a client of mine who had a fracture using the PEMF mat twice a day. He actually healed it in 4.
Twice a day, so
Yeah. When it's 8 minutes twice a day.
in terms of the cold plunge, is there like a minimum of time that we need to be inside?
Obviously, the deeper you go, the better. If you can get all the way up to your neck, and so you get all, your thyroid, you get all the circulation and, everything. If you get, it makes it a lot colder. But if you can get all the way up to your neck, that's ideal.
Hello, welcome to today's podcast. Welcome to Sophie Sinson. She's an expert in recovery and so many other things. So let's introduce her today. So, Sophie, can you tell us a little bit more about you, please?
I am Sophie Sinson. I'm the owner of Active Bodyworks in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've been a massage therapist for 25 years in the health industry. Work a lot with pain management doctors, physical therapists, personal trainers. It's more of the medical approach to massage rather than the spa. And then I've recently, about a year ago, opened up my new facility that has a whole recovery center in addition to it, that has the compression boots and hips, red light therapy, PEMF, infrared saunas, and cold plunge.
So I'm curious, what made you add that new, those new services?
Yeah, I added the services about 4 years ago. I actually got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And after the wear and tear of doing massage for over 20 years at this point, my body was failing me, and I was getting a ton of inflammation in my joints. I was, my body was just completely shutting down. And they put me, doctors, as they do, they put me on the biologics and anti-inflammatories and all the things. And I was starting to get a negative response. I was getting eczema from it, which it was actually supposed to help eczema. Like, I was getting a lot of skin issues and just a lot of issues from the medicine. So I kind of decided to really throw myself into somebody else's recovery center. I made it a point to do it 3 times a week for about an hour and a half each time. And by the end of the month,
Wow.
I felt amazing. And so the benefits that I got from it, I knew all of my clients would benefit from at least 2 of the products that I'd been using. So that kind of got my wheels turning. And as fate has it, I just kind of got approached and was able to open the facility. So it adds such another level of healing to the clients that we already have. And it's creating, some more momentum on its own.
Wow, that's beautiful. So that's the best way to start a business. It's when you solve your own problems, and then you can help others to achieve the same.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
tell me more, like your autoimmune disease, was it something bad and big, and
It
is it
was
resolved
no,
right
it's
now,
more
or?
joint inflammation. So my mother and my sister both have rheumatoid arthritis, so I was assuming it was that. But it's actually ended up being this, kind of this obscure one called Crest, which I was just having on its own. I was having issues with esophageal issues with heartburn and that kind of thing. I was having some skin issues. I was having some joint, just scleroderma, some joint issues. So put, individually, I thought they were all completely separate, but after I go into the rheumatologist, it's all associated. So they put me on the Humira and, all the shots for all of that. And it worked, it worked for about a year, but then my body just wasn't responding well to it. So,
Wow.
just like in every day, there's so much research that goes not only in autoimmunes, but in cancer and, so many different diseases start with inflammation. And everything that we have in the recovery room is all geared towards decreasing inflammation in one way, shape, or form. So, autoimmunes, I feel like the recovery centers are really well known for sports and injury prevention. I used to work with professional baseball for a few years, and everybody would do the cold plunge, and, high school, all the guys would get in the big bins with all the ice and the water. And, so it's been that concept's been around for so long, but I think, it's very underutilized in the medical community. I have clients that have Parkinson's. I have, clients that just, older clients that kind of shuffle around, don't get the circulation going. And, obviously autoimmune diseases and, just there's so many,
So many
diseases that
benefits of that.
start with
Yeah.
inflammation.
And that's that. I was really excited to have you on the podcast today, so I can learn and help others understanding all the different recovery, tools, or like that we can have in our toolbox. And
Yeah.
I would love to start with red light therapy.
Okay.
So can you tell me more a little bit, like, so people can understand what is it exactly, red light therapy, and when we should do it, and what does it involve, basically?
Okay. Have you ever done red light?
So you know what? I've been to the biohacking event
Yeah, yeah,
last year. So I've tried some, but never like on a continuous
consistent.
basis. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, red
But I
light
would love
therapy
to,
is a real big thing these days. A lot of people really get into it. I think, the health and beauty industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I think so. It really people gravitate towards that because of it helps a lot with like skin and fine lines and wrinkles and collagen production and that kind of thing. But I think what is lesser known and lesser utilized is its anti-inflammatory factor. A lot of the the infrareds that there's either large panels or like these small little itty bitty panels or that kind of thing. Or we have it almost looks like an old school tanning bed where it's all the way around you. You kind of lay down it and it covers you, and it's a big bed. But it is phenomenal for pain and inflammation. It really truly is. Like any
for
in
pain
more of
and
the superficial
inflammation.
joints, huh?
Okay. For pain and inflammation.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, so
Mm.
it helps it helps with the stimulate the mitochondria in your skin and your body and all that, but it also
Yep.
penetrates a little bit deeper. A lot of it has the near infrared rays, and so it penetrates a little bit below the skin too, and it will help kind of alleviate the pain and inflammation on superficial areas of the body.
Mm. So how does it work? Like, I've seen like very small device, very big. I'm following Brian Johnson. Like he's got the whole body,
Yep,
like even like on both sides.
yep.
So I mean, like, is it is it better to do all your body if
It depends. It
so
depends on your intent. Like,
okay,
it's I think, obviously I'm a go big or go home person, but so the bigger
okay,
the better. But if you're just looking for one little specific area, then a small panel will work just fine. So it kind of depends on what the intent is behind using the product. If you're looking for, the full skin rejuvenation and collagen production and that kind of thing, then yeah, the bigger the panel, the stronger the panel, the better.
uh
But there is definitely a lot of amazing benefits to even just using some of the smaller panels specifically on areas. Like I have a small panel that's probably about that big that I put my hands on at home, and it just helps with my inflammation in my hands for my joints.
oh,
So yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so you would say that basically when you have like inflammation issues or pain in some specific spot, then you kind of locate that, if fingers or something so is it good for arthrosis?
Yep. Arthritis, any
Arthritis?
type of injury like your knee, actually, it would be great for. Definitely if it like spot treatment off the knee. Arthritis is definitely a big one. I know that a lot of people that use it for arthritis. So yeah, absolutely.
Does it
It
really
just
work? Or
yeah, it does. And honestly, what's great about it is you can use it every day.
mm,
You can use it. Yeah, you can use it occasionally, and you'll get some benefits from it. But you can use it every single day, and depending on the product, and depending on how strong of the red light you have, you can anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes a day is optimal. So it's great,
okay, okay. And
and it actually helps with mood boosts too, and sleeping.
uh, so that was my question. So basically when you have like inflammation or it's hurting, but let's say as a other aspect, like how can we benefit from that? Like sleep, that would
Sleep.
improve me?
Yeah, yeah, because it gives you it's like when you're in areas that don't that has doesn't have a lot of light. You're kind of in a shade of gray for the wintertime, like
Yeah.
Seattle used to
Like
be, and I'm sure it's
today,
similar there.
I'm in Canada right now. But I mean, right now I live in Canada always.
Yeah.
But today it's a beautiful day. But in the last couple of weeks, it was pretty snowy and gray and everything. So
Yep.
we're missing that sunlight. So
Yep, absolutely, and that's actually it's been known to help because of the brightness and it actually helps activate the brain, helps stimulate your moods. It helps. I have clients like I have a Parkinson's client, and Parkinson's actually it actually causes depression a lot of times because it takes away some of the natural dopamine that you have in your brain just from the disease. And he's noticing by using it, even 3 times a week, that he's sleeping better, his mood is stabilized, he's a lot happier. Like there's a lot of benefits that aren't necessarily up the ones that people tend to sell the product for.
okay, okay, amazing. And would you
Yeah,
say that it's better to do it in the morning, in the evening, or it doesn't matter, or?
don't think it really matters, to be honest. I haven't I think doing it at some point. I used to do it a lot at night because my panel's small, and I'd take my bath and I'd put it on the side of the bath, and I'd, do my face. And I always did sleep better. But I don't think that there's anything, scientifically proven that would be it's better in the morning for this or better at night for, for that. So I think just playing
Mm.
with it, using it, see what you benefit from,
Mhm.
if it helps
Mhm.
stimulate you a little bit and actually kind of gets you going, then maybe it's
Mhm.
better to do it in the morning. If it helps kind of calm you down and makes you sleep better, then
Yeah.
maybe the afternoon or evening would be better.
So I was asking that because I was thinking a lot about, like I'm reading and watching podcasts about the importance of like being on the sunlight in the morning when you wake up,
Yeah.
but whether
Yes.
if
Yep.
it's raining or it's not a beautiful day. So I was thinking like, is that a good option to kind of access the daylight,
Hmm.
or it's not really this, it's not doing the same effect as the
I
day.
don't think it's not it doesn't have the same effect as like sunlight does. You're not getting the vitamin D. It doesn't have the stimulation like it does. I do think it does have some mood boosting benefits, but as far as I think that it's a very different monster from sun, like getting that 30 minutes of morning sunlight before 10 a.m., which helps. Obviously that helps your grounding, and it helps your body. What is it, the negative ions in your body? It kind of helps stimulate them, or there's a
Mhm.
bunch of different things that I've heard
Mm.
about that, but
Sure.
I don't know if red light really has the same effect as that would be,
Mm.
or not. Actually, to be honest, I that's a
Okay.
really good thing to research.
Okay, cool. So I will check into that. And
Yeah,
so so the people goes to your, so do you combine that with other modalities in your gym, or the people in your recovery center, or people just come for red light?
I have some clients that have the membership here just for red light because
Really? Yeah.
and it's because of the aesthetics of it. But if you have the membership, you have access to all of it. It's not just one or the other. So I'm always trying to get people to use. I really love the red light therapy mixed with PEMF.
Mm.
And actually, there is some research at some of the colleges going into using red light therapy, then the infrared sauna, and then cold plunge, and it helps actually rewire the neuroreceptors in your brain from like PTSD and some mood disorders, severe anxiety, severe depression. So there are some studies that are currently going at some of the colleges to actually have some scientific proof to back that up. So the combination can be really amazing. But I really, for like back pain, I really love it when at least clients that don't necessarily want to get sweaty in the sauna or don't want to get cold in the cold
Hmm.
plunge, if they
Yeah.
do the red light therapy for 10 to 20 minutes and then just sit on the PEMF mat, that's a great combination.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the PMF. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so stoked about that. I don't have any device at my home, and but I've done. There's a place close by here that there's a doctor that found that he created a device for PMF, but with a special formula. Like
Okay.
so,
What
but
does he use it for?
so for a lot of, I mean, for a lot of conditions. So I mean, he told me so many stories about some people that they had like big kiss, like big. I don't know how you call that in English. Do you call that like a kiss or?
A
Mm.
kiss? I don't know what
Okay,
that.
no, it's probably
Sorry.
like
Kiss is something very different in English, so I don't know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what that
Well,
is.
I'm French Canadian, right? So I mean, it's like when you start to have like an amount of skin that grow like something like a tumor,
Oh,
but it's
okay.
not a
Yeah, yeah.
tumor.
Like,
It's like
okay. Yeah, like a nodule, like that's forming in under the skin.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And he saw like within 2 days, like removing from that.
Wow. That's
He saw
impressive.
people coming in wheelchair, and then for a couple of days after walking, and like a couple of weeks after. So
Wow, that's amazing.
actually, before to do my stem cell therapy, I've done like a 12 session for my knee, and
Okay.
I felt so relaxed, so chill, but I didn't feel it helped my knee. Maybe I
Okay.
should have done it like, like very steady for like 6 months.
Yeah.
But please explain us for the people that doesn't know about PEMF, what is it, what it is, and um, so
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
will
the
be great.
PEMF is a pulsating electromagnetic frequency or field. What it helps is open up all the microcirculation in your body. So through every day, our tissue gets tight. You don't it lacks lacks the circulation everywhere. And it, by opening up all the microcirculation, you help the healing process. So it forces just a huge dump of, nutrients and oxygen and all, all the things the body needs to help heal itself. So it helps with wound healing, it helps with bone growth, it helps with
Mm.
stress and anxiety. It's actually would be really great for your knee,
Mm.
just to help kind of open up all the nutrients. I have a client of mine who had a fracture, and
Um,
the doctor's like a normal fracture. It was supposed to heal in like 8 weeks. By using the PEMF mat twice a day, he actually healed it in 4. So it just, I have heard of like
twice
cancer.
twice a day,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
but
When it's
that's
8 minutes twice a day. So
yeah,
he actually bought one for his house, and he just used it
okay.
twice a day, in his house, and it was amazing. It was
Um,
absolutely amazing. So there's a lot of athletes that use it for recovery and performance. There's a lot of people that just use it for stress management. It's supposed to kind of help, getting all that circulation going in your brain, and it's supposed to help kind of calm you down. So yeah, honestly, this thing has been amazing. My father had cancer, and he had horrible, like, just like circulation in his legs, and he'd have bad cramping. And so he'd wake up in the middle of the night and his leg would lock up on him.
right.
And he used it for 8 minutes once a day. And all that completely went away. So,
So it's a
it
mat
is,
it's a
huh?
mat that it's a
Yeah,
mat
so
that you
the
put?
one that we have is called the Beamer. It's BEMER. It's a low frequency. There's a lot of places that have the higher frequency of things that actually requires like a technician to do it for. But the one that I have is you can use it daily. You can use it in your house. Pretty much anybody can use it for the most part. There are definitely some contraindications of it, but yeah, it definitely helps open up all the microcirculation. It's honestly, it's been so fun. It's been like, I think
It looks
starting
like
this stuff has been, it's
it's your
been more
best
fun
one,
for
right?
me to use the products, I think, than anything
Mhm.
else.
Yeah, so it's your it's your best one, the most, it looks like the one you're most passionate about it.
I think, a lot. It's a hard sell, by the way, because it's one of those products that you don't feel anything. It's not like
Mm.
doing a STEM unit when you go to PT where you feel like the electricity going in, so you feel like it's working. The field is you can't detect it. It's there's a few people that'll feel it like a little bit. So it's hard to sell people on it working. But if you do come in for with an injury, and they do consistently use it and they do feel better, that's where they get, that's where those people are easy to sell. But if you're kind of just sitting on it and you're like, I don't know if it's doing anything, like, it's hard for people to understand the concept.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there's also like a strap that you can wind around a knee, or around your head, or I actually had some dental work done, and so I kept wrapping myself like a mummy, and I'd put it on there, and it helped heal the dental work a lot faster. So it's great, just in this day and age when we live such sedentary lives, where we sit down so much, we're not up moving, and we're not, our circulation isn't going as much. I
Mm.
just think it's a great, great thing to have.
So I'm curious, like, do you find it challenging for you as an owner of like your recovery centers, that the people decide to buy the device by themselves and don't come again? Like, how do you? I'm
No, no,
curious, like,
actually, I would love that. To be honest, like, it really is. It's about the clients. It's about the patients. I open this because I want people to have access to it. I'm actually a seller of the product, so if
okay.
they choose to buy it, I can sell it to them. I can reasonably.
Mm.
So I'm definitely, I would love that. I think it's, anything that people can do to improve their health and wellness, and help their journey and help. I'm all for. And if there's
Mm.
something that I can do along the way to help, that's great.
Because how much does it cost, like a PEMF mat, ballpark? Like,
Well, I've heard of some that are only like 800, $800. I've heard of some that are a couple thousand that you can travel with. I had a business, somebody that I used to work with that would travel a lot for business, and so he used to bring it with him on the road,
uh
to help with his body recovery from traveling and having to be, on constantly for meetings and that kind of thing. And he swears by it. He said it helps with any of his, like, just like going to different time zones and regulating his body. He said he swore by it. But mine, the one that I use is about $6,500, I think, or like somewhere around 6,500 US dollars.
so
But it can go
500.
anywhere. It's like
You mean 6,500?
6,500. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So it's not everyone that can purchase
no,
that, obviously.
not
Oh my
that one.
God.
But there are cheaper models, that
Yeah.
may not be. as intense, but they still
Hmm.
they still work. I think the one that he used, I think, was around 2 grand.
Yeah.
So it's there are other products out there that are reasonably
Absolutely.
priced that may not be as thorough, but they're still great products. But I
Yeah.
also have heard of them going up to 50,000. So you
Mhm.
can get pretty crazy with it if you really want to.
Yes, exactly. So I really see the benefit now. Like if the device is $6,000, and then I know, and red light therapy, how much how much can it cost? Like a
A
device can cost
panel,
500 to a couple of thousand, I guess, depending the size of the
it
unit.
depends on the size. So and the intensity of it. So my
Mm.
little panel that I had, I think was about $500. The big panel that I have, one of the big panels that I have in there is about 6,000. I think is somewhere around 7,000.
Yeah,
But it's a 6 foot, 7 foot,
sure.
and 3 foot wide. Like a big guy can stand in it.
Yeah.
The bed that I have in there is, I think, a $60,000 bed.
60.
60, yeah,
Oh,
60,000. So yeah, so it's that you can
what
definitely,
type of bed is it?
huh?
What type of bed is it? Like,
I can't remember the company's name, but it's a full. It looks like, it literally looks like an old tanning bed. Like it's big, bulky. It's 7 feet long and 4 feet wide, and it's a big tube basically that goes all the way around you. It's a
but it's
little
a
more
red light.
intense,
It's a
huh?
red light therapy
Yep,
unit.
it's red light and it has the near infrared rays in it as well.
Okay,
So it
okay,
helps with the anti-inflammatory. Yeah. So yeah, you can, and honestly, I've heard of people having red light therapy blankets that are only
okay.
$1,000, and those seem to work well. So there are a lot of products. I would highly recommend,
Oh,
anybody that's going to buy one is to do a lot of research,
yes.
making sure they get the right one, they're getting a good quality product.
Mhm, mhm.
And there's a lot of knockoffs of that don't
Yeah,
work very well, or they say it's red light and it's not actually like penetrating and having the uses that it should have. So look at the reviews, research the companies, make sure that you're getting a good quality product. It doesn't have to be expensive to be good. I'm not I'm my stuff in here is all medical quality, and that's the reason why. But home use is completely different. You don't have to have the six
sure.
thousand big bad boy like I have in there, to for the product to work. So
Yeah,
it's definitely achievable. It's definitely doable. It's definitely something that people can have in their homes and not have to spend a lot of money for it.
yeah, yeah. So I really see the benefit of having like a recovery center. So
Yeah,
actually, so why does I mean I'm curious to hear to speak more about other modalities that we have, but that you have. But
yeah.
first, like, why the gym doesn't have such unit? Like,
Like their gym, like a workout
yeah.
gym.
Like, yeah, typical gym. They have their machines, they have their, all the stuff to be
Yep.
bulky, like
Yep.
not like me, but really bulky.
Honestly,
But
that would be $1 million idea for you, because down here we're actually starting it. There's a lot of gyms that are actually starting to get cold plunges and infrared saunas and that kind of stuff, in their gym. There actually is one that just opened up and they have a full recovery center in there.
mm,
So some of the gyms are taking it seriously. They are understanding the benefits,
yeah,
of it, but it's just like anything else. I think awareness is key, and I think now that it's kind of becoming more popular and more
yeah,
mainstream, I think you'll see a lot more of it popping up.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
the thing is, it's a lot. It's something more invisible. Like,
yeah,
when you go to workout, like there's a lot of people they do it for significance or for like looking great instead
yep,
of feeling great,
yep.
and it's a shame. And I'm glad to see that it's changing.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Mm.
I think now, there's so much research with neuroplasticity and, and longevity. It's becoming such big buzzwords, and people are like, they're actually taking it seriously. And it's a lot of it's an age thing too. In
Yeah,
your 20s, you think you're, I can
invincible.
do anything. It's like,
Sure.
your body just naturally recovers. It's no big deal. But as you get older, and the wears and tears of sports and the wears and tears of, sitting at a desk all day and that kind of thing, they start kind of wearing on you. As you start making a little bit more money, you have the financial backing to be able to put money into your health and wellness. I think that's when
Mhm.
it kind of starts becoming more of a priority for some
Yeah,
people. Not everybody, but some people.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the main purpose of my podcast. It's really to make that more visible, and so people can be more aware about these new.
yeah,
I mean, I said I was about to say these new things, but they're not new at all. I mean, so that has been many many years, but it's just like it's becoming more and more mainstream,
yeah.
and I think it's beautiful.
Absolutely. No, definitely. I think, anything that we can, and we were kind of talking about this before we started rolling,
Yeah.
but, what you do now is going
Mhm.
to dictate, who you are in your 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
80s. Like, all of it starts now. So, if you start in your 20s or your teens or your 30s or wherever you start, like it, if you can start early, the decisions you make about
Absolutely.
your life now and
Can
what,
have a
your
root.
health and wellness and your food
Mhm.
is going to dictate what your body does in 40 years from now. So it is
Absolutely.
important. It really is important.
Yeah, absolutely. So we discuss about red light therapy, about PEMF.
Mhm.
Um, maybe I think there's another one that you offer is compression boot. Compression
Yeah,
boot. So
compressions.
tell me
Yeah.
more. Like, what is it?
So yeah, and actually, I know you're an avid skier. Have you ever used compression for any of your stuff?
Again, I love the biohacking event of Dave Asprey
Yeah.
last year. Like they had a whole place where we could try some device, and wow, I did like the squeeze,
Yep.
the and it was up to here, I think,
Oh
the
wow,
big
that's yours
squeeze,
goes up high. Yeah.
and you feel like it was like boots that you. It's more than boots. It's like the whole suit,
Yeah. Yep.
and so it's like compressing and then moving your blood flow through your heart, I think.
Yeah,
Or
so what it does is it helps a lot with like muscle recovery. It helps with any edema or any inflammation that you're getting, ankle swelling, any of that. It helps kind of push. So the ones that I have is the Normatec boots. They have different air chambers that go up and
Mhm.
down, whether you have the legs or I have the hips or I have the arms, but it fills up the different air chambers and basically using certain patterns, and it pushes all the old blood out, and then it will release, and then just a flood of new blood goes in there. And so it helps, once again, increasing the circulation and getting new nutrients and oxygen. So it helps get rid of lactic acid. It helps get rid of the old blood and new nutrients and new oxygen into your legs to help them recover after a hard workout or a long endurance training. Or actually, it's been so surprising, some of my clients that are older, that, like I said, they shuffle around, and and I had no idea that they would even be interested, but I'm like, hey, let's throw you on and see how it feels. And some of my older clients are loving those because
Really?
they
Wow.
don't, which makes sense because they don't get to the full range of motion in their
Mm.
legs, and they're kind of shuffling a little bit, and so it gets, their legs feel invigorated and they feel like they're easier to walk with. So it's been funny. You don't have to be an athlete to use some of the stuff, and you don't, it could be, the older generation. When my dad was in the hospital and he wasn't up moving around too much, I brought the Normatec boots and I laid him out in the hospital bed, and he loved it. It was great.
Amazing.
So yeah, it really is for everyone. Recovery and wellness is for everybody. So, and then the hips, it feels like a boa constrictor. They're just kind of like just the compression. It feels so good. And then arms, a lot of swimmers use them for their arms to help, same thing, rejuvenation, stimulation. It helps kind of, get the blood flow going, get some new blood in there.
Nice. So the session. So before to, so are you sitting down? You're laid down on the floor, or how
Yeah,
does?
so I have these electric chairs that you start sitting down and then you flatten out. Especially with the legs, you can still be sitting up and the legs just straight out. With the hips, it's better to have the full body kind of reclined, just because otherwise you get a little bit of an arch
Yeah.
in your back and it doesn't feel very comfortable.
Sure.
So yeah, I have the electric chairs that basically lay pretty much flat, that you can kind of
Mhm.
lay on and do it that way.
Okay. And the session will be how much time
It goes
roughly?
in 15-minute increments. So honestly, when I used to run, longer distances. I never was a racer by any means. I was never competitive, but I used to run long distances. And so if I ran, 1-2 hours, I'd sit on there for a good 45 minutes, 60
Oh
minutes
wow.
sometimes, just to help kind of get the recovery. But
Mhm.
the average person probably normally does about 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay. And when they do that, do they do something else at the same time, or they just chill out and
Chill
relax?
out. I actually have some clients that come and they'll bring their computer and they'll have the compression boots on, and they like are typing on
Okay.
their computer while working while they get compression. So a lot of them
Mhm.
take naps.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
a good
pretty
moment to just kind of
awesome.
like, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So you would say, so I thought that the compression boots were more for athlete or like sport advocate. So
Yeah.
so
That's
that's good to know that older people can benefit also. Actually
Yeah,
everyone.
it's and that's actually been a surprise to me as well. So there's been a lot of happy surprises opening this facility, but I think just like everything else, like, the all of these equipments, we're so used to using it for sports and recovery and athletics and that kind of thing, and I just think that, the older generation medical community, so much of it is just underutilized, and I think it's just a knowledge thing. That's why I love doing things like I'm doing with you today,
Yeah.
just to create the education, great to create the knowledge out there, so
Mhm.
that
Mm.
we can better, better understand there are other avenues to help you feel better and to help, have a better quality of life.
Mm. Nice. Good. So that's amazing. So actually, I will. Yeah, I'm excited for the next event. So I'll go in May to. It's gonna be in Austin, Texas, the
Oh, good.
2025 biohacking event, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm curious to. I might buy one actually, the boots, and so I get excited during these events.
Yeah. Oh, the boots are great, especially like with your knee problem that you're having, and then with
Mhm.
skiing. Being on that pounding of being on the skis all day, and your knee. Like honestly, the end of the day, it would be great for you and your daughter both.
Yeah. So for example, like if I had the stem cell therapy for my knee, would you say if I had to pick one modalities or one therapy, which one do you think it would be better to have the compression boost, the PEMF,
I would say
the
PEMF.
PMF?
Yeah, the PEMF, I believe, would probably, after they don't want you doing anything, they don't want you moving the circulation around at all or anything for the stem, like directly, like, but once the stem cells are, you're good and you're solid, I think the PEMF would be huge, which is the rejuvenation and the cellular, help with helping the body heal.
Mm. And would you put like something like more local to my knee or like
Yeah.
the full body, like I lay down on a mat?
Both. So what, the
Mm.
having the mat just do the full body is amazing. And then I have a strap that you literally just wrap whatever body part. I had a lady that had horrible plantar fasciitis. Like, just, she went to the doctor, she went to PT, she couldn't get rid of it. And all I did was have her wrap that around her foot. And then put that on high for 20 minutes, and then have her go in the cold, but just dip her leg down from her knee in the cold plunge, and that helped. Like within like 3 weeks she was feeling better. So I just think the healing capabilities of the PEMF would be huge for your knee,
Mm.
just
Mm.
to help the strength and everything so that it doesn't get re-injured.
Nice, nice. Cool. So, and you spoke about the cold. So let's talk about cold and hot
Oh,
therapy. So,
yeah. Hydrotherapy.
yeah. So do you and I'm curious to have your thing between like so you got the sauna, you got infrared sauna,
Hmm.
uh, and you got the cold plunge. Um, so what's how do you like? I see that more in a spa or in yeah in the spa.
Yeah.
So tell me more during like in a recovery center. I'm curious.
So what's great about and so I don't, do you know the difference between a traditional sauna and the infrared? The
So
difference between,
I have a traditional sauna home. So
okay.
outside I have a barrel electric sauna, but it's not clear to me like like infrared would be no. So please explain.
Okay. Yeah.
You're
So the
gonna be
traditional
better.
saunas, what it does is, like the traditional steam or electric saunas, is it heats the air around you, which then in turn heats the body. So you're still heating the body from the inside out. With the infrared saunas, what it's doing is using the near, far, and mid infrarays, and it's actually heating you from the inside out.
Yeah,
Or I
from
said
the
that. Did
electric.
I mess that up? I meant the outside in. The traditional ones do the outside in, and infrared kind of gets you from the inside out. So by the time you're actually sweating, you're in. The inside is actually detoxed rather than like just dehydrating you level by level like the traditional saunas do. Which is there's still a ton of detox. There's still great benefits to that. So it's not like one's better than the other, but um, I like the infrared because you can get better benefits even at lower temperatures. So the infrared sauna that I use is the Sunlighten company. And I absolutely love them because they've done so much scientific like research for their saunas and the different benefits and at what temperature and all
Mm,
those things.
yeah.
They're one of the only ones that are actually approved by the American Heart Association.
That's
So
nice.
they're phenomenal. They really are. Their products are great, and then but it really does help open up the circulation by doing a sauna 2 to 3 times a week. It reduces your risk of a heart attack by like 51%. Obviously, there's a lot of skin, benefits for your skin and rejuvenation and all that. There's detox from, obviously a lot of people are using it for in the holistic approach for like detoxing from heavy metals. I don't know if there's a lot of science based research to prove that, but I know there's a lot of people in the industry that do a lot of that actually. It's
Mhm.
very, very well known in the holistic naturopathic medicine. there's just the benefits are endless. It really
Yeah.
truly is. Like the infrared sauna is amazing. And what's great about it is like the research with the sunlight and product. And I'm not plugging them because I'm paid by them at all or anything like that. I really enjoyed the company. They've been amazing. But because of the research and because of all the the scientific backing that they have, like they have pre-programmed buttons in there that it's literally, if you are going for pain management, it's at 131 degrees for 35 minutes. So it puts it at the perfect temperature for the perfect duration according to their research of what
Mm.
that for that benefit of the body. So
Okay, so that's nice.
it is really cool. So yeah, or you can crank it up to
And
160 and
I
just
think you
sweat.
sweat more. You sweat less, right?
It's funny because I actually sweat more in an
Oh,
infrared than
really?
I do a sauna, but
Mm.
I've heard opposite from some people. So I think it
But
depends
you
on
feel
how
less
your
the
body
heat.
reacts to it.
But you feel less the heat, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the
Mm.
traditional saunas, like the ones I have at my gym that I used to go to, I'd have to crank it up to 200 degrees. And it took me a while. It would take me a good 30 minutes to kind of start
It
getting a
took
good
me
sweat going.
45,
And
45,
yeah,
50 minutes, but I wanted to have like I like the smell, and there's a bubble also. We're outside, there's
yeah,
snow, so it's kind of it's
that's actually
beautiful.
really cool. That would be really fun to do
It's like
for
a
sure.
yeah, so and but when I when I go out, I feel like my hair are like burning,
Oh,
like
I'm sure everything's like, you probably have so much steam coming out. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, it
and
is.
my sleep quality really improve, and my like my rapid eye movement, like my REM sleep and my deep sleep really skyrock since
Yep,
2 3 weeks, because I just
absolutely.
got it recently. So
Yeah. Yeah, you just, and obviously it's just very you have to be well aware of hydration and making sure that you're getting your electrolytes and all of that, and you're not going in there too you know it actually helps with sleep too, with immune boost and that kind of sleep and your immunity for your health benefit. So it actually, by doing that, and especially paired with the cold plunge, it helps give a really good detox to your lymphatic system. So it helps your immunity and go up too for
mhm.
getting sick and during, especially during the winter season like we're now. So yeah, it's a big one. I love the benefits. How often do you use it?
So right now I'm on a schedule like 5 times a week.
Oh
So
wow, that's great.
I read the studies. Like they say, I think it was a Finnish from Finland.
Yeah, which
Sorry.
is, yeah, huge.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think they said like it was you do it 5 times a week, 20 minutes, 175-degree, and
Okay.
like you reduce like by half your chance of cardiovascular risk, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So and it just feel good, remove my stress. I just I just feel good, and put some music on, and or sometimes I just relax and be quiet. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a great moment of you can have music on, you can be silent. I meditate in there sometimes, like
Mhm.
just if I'm it really, sometimes I bring my computer in there and I'll work. So it is kind of a nice getaway. So that's great that you incorporate it that much into your life, though. It's a
Yeah,
lot of people don't, like I could barely get them in here 2 or 3 times a week, let alone five. So it's great.
yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I bought a cold plunge. I didn't, so I'm reorganizing my home gym, but I just don't know like when to use it, because in my mind, when you do your sauna, you should do the cold plunge after.
You
But
can, for sure.
I mean, the problem, like right now in my schedule, I do my sauna during the evening. So if I do the cold plunge just before sleeping, I try it like 2 times, and it just like I have a trouble
It
to
woke
sleep.
you up.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
big
and that's
time.
it's actually a good and interesting. It's always interesting to see how it affects different people. So I tend to cold plunge in the afternoon. So like I'll usually do it at 4 or 5 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And it does kind of bring, because it shoots your body into fight or flight a little bit,
Yeah.
and then your system kind of regulates, your nervous system regulates a little bit. So I have the best sleep of my life after I do a sauna. So, or not sauna, so cold plunge. So like I'll do the sauna for 30 minutes or whatever, and then I'll do the cold plunge for 4 to 5 minutes, and then I'll kind of sit out for a few minutes. I'll go back in the sauna just for a second to get that little edge off, which I know
Yeah.
you're not supposed to do. But my body feels so gooey and exhausted and tired, and I'm starving. I'm always starving right afterwards, and
Mm.
I get the best night's sleep.
So
Like
you sleep.
so.
So you said at 4 or 5 o'clock. So right now I'm doing it. I'm sleeping around 9 ish p.m. So I'm doing it like at 8 o'clock p.m. after dinner.
Oh,
So I
maybe
think
maybe if you can do it a little bit earlier,
yeah,
so
I
it
need to
gives your
shift
body
it.
time to kind of ramp up and then come back down
Yeah.
again. Yeah, maybe that would be a better opportunity. But if it does really ramp you up, obviously, there's Tony Robbins, Andrew
Yeah,
Huberman,
do it in the morning.
like Rogan, they all do it in the morning,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So
it really, I love, I think my favorite thing about the cold plunge is the clarity. The mental clarity that you get from doing it, it's just absolutely phenomenal. And as somebody who has been diagnosed with ADD and all the things, like it really does help so much with the clarity of the mind and the
mm.
neuroplasticity, and just it really, it's been huge for me.
So, I mean, would you say that there's in terms of the cold plunge, is there like a minimum of time that we need to be inside? And do we need to cover the whole body, or what's your take on that?
Obviously, the deeper you go, the better. If you can get all the way up to your neck, and so you get all, your thyroid, you get all the circulation, and everything. If you get, it makes it a lot colder. Going from here to here is a huge hard. It's a big
From where?
step.
From the neck, the
Yeah,
bottom
just
top of
because
the
because of the sensitivity. You have
okay.
so much circulation, you have your nerves, in your brachial plexus, you have your thyroid, like you have so much up here, and the skin's so much thinner than the rest, and you don't have as much tissue like you do the rest of the body, so it just feels cold. Like it feels a lot colder going through. But if you can get all the way up to your neck, that's ideal. I find that, if you can make it to a minute and 45 seconds to 2 minutes, then you can make it to 4. Like that minute and 45, 2 minutes is really, if you kind of, your body starts kind of sinking into it. You start battling it. The pins and needles, the cold burning sensation on your skin kind of goes away. Just your body kind of like drops into it a little bit
Mm.
better. But no, as far as what you were saying before, if you make it 30 seconds, it's still great. So what the benefits say from what the research that I've read, is 11 minutes a week is kind of
That's
the
what I read.
optimal thing. So whether that takes you 6 times to do,
Hmm.
or to you
Hmm.
do it in 2, or whatever it is, like,
Yeah,
11 minutes a week is really where the physical benefits kind of,
yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't really get much better than that.
yeah. And what's the temperature? You would say that. Do you know from that
So there's
research,
a lot
or
of research backing up, about 55 degrees.
which is how much
So,
in
which is a lot warmer
Celsius?
than I would have expected.
So you said 50. How much?
55 degrees. Oh yeah. So what is that?
55
Sorry.
Fahrenheit to Celsius.
What is that Celsius?
12. Oh, damn, that's
Well,
hot.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So
That's
that's the thing. It's
that is
funny because
hot.
I'm used to, literally breaking ice and going in the water with icicles. So, but there's a lot of scientific proof that it says that there really isn't that much more benefits to physically, to
Mm.
lower than 55. So,
You see, I
but
love
with
it.
that being
Mhm.
said, I believe the mental clarity is a huge thing for me, and so I go at mine's 40. I have two at my facility. I
40,
have one at 40, which would be what
4
is that?
degrees Celsius.
8?
So
What is it?
yeah, 4.
4? Yeah, 4.
It's pretty
So
cold.
4, and the other one's 50. So that would be
Yeah.
somewhere around 8, 9. So 40 and 50. So those are what my cold plunges are at my facility. But but there's benefits even at, probably at 15 to, at 60, so like there's still benefits. So it's not necessarily, if you can't do it at the 4, the 8, then
Ju-
if you can do it at
I
12,
try it.
15, then do it. Like it, whatever your body tells you, definitely listen to your body.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's why I wanted to buy one so I can do inside my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Because obviously during winter, I had one outside, and when the temperature just drop, it was like around zero,
Yeah.
and my feet was like like super cold. Like I felt
Yeah.
like they
They
were like
hurt, right? They kind of like, yeah,
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 like hypothermia. I don't know, like they were freezing.
yeah.
So yeah, so I
So they
bought
have
some.
these things actually you might look into since you're doing it. If the rest of your body felt good
I
and you
would
like
all
it at
good,
that
but my
temperature,
feet were
they have
killing
these like sleeves that just go over your toes. And you can use them for your fingers too. That have, it's basically like scuba diving, material. It's like 3 millimeter, like a wetsuit. And you just literally put it over your toes and over your fingers, and you can go in, because that is probably the thing I've seen consistently from people, that it's their toes that hurt and their fingers that hurt. And so if you can just get a little sleeve to help protect and give that just that little bit added benefit,
yeah.
that would make it more comfortable for you.
But actually, I bought some socks from scuba diving socks.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. That
Yeah,
helped.
and yeah, it really helped big
Yep.
time. But I was just wondering if it would remove the benefit, but I
No.
don't know. Huh? Okay.
No, because you're not
Ooh.
really, just having your feet in it or just having your hands. Like that's
Mhm.
not your rest of your body is
Yeah.
getting all of the
The blood.
benefits and your brain and your circulation and all of that. So yeah, no. The only thing I would say is like if you specifically were having some ankle issues or something that you wanted specifically to get the coldest you can, then I would probably not use the sleeve or or plantar fasciitis or something like that in your feet. But otherwise, yeah, if you can make it yourself more comfortable, then why not? I'm all for it.
Yeah, so I want to do it longer. So yeah, so you said 11 minutes for cold, and I think the research I've seen for the sauna was like 50 minutes, 50 per week.
Okay.
Is that what you have found, or do you have any other
No,
number?
for me, I'm sure there's, to be honest, there hasn't been anything that I've read that was specific to the time. It was more how many times a week you do it. So it's more 2 to 3 times a week and making sure that you're getting consistently that detox and consistent the circulation. I feel like there's really no point in going into it unless you can do at least 20 to 30 minutes. I
Hmm.
like that time for me is a good amount of time. So just, whatever, I guess once again, it depends on what your intention is. Like, if your intention is pain management, then maybe, I'd recommend any of your viewers to research that, look it up, see what the research shows for specifically that thing. If you're just looking to detox, then just crank it up and go in there as long as you can, as long as you're making sure that you're replenishing with good electrolytes and hydration and all of that too. And so, I would just really kind of focus on what the intent, what
Yeah.
your intention is, what your intent is for using the product.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, for the audience, also always check, like, I think there's some contraindication. For example, if you're pregnant or
Yes.
if you have cancer or some other thing, I'm not a medical doctor, and this is
Yes.
not medical advice, but I mean, I think it's important that the people, they do some research, or that they ask the right question. Don't be
Absolutely.
afraid to say if you have some issues. So,
Well, and that's actually a good point for everything that we have in there. So obviously, with the cold plunge, they're, pregnancy, that's probably frowned upon. Raynaud's disease. There's certain things that people that should not use the cold plunge. Infrared, you just said. The PEMF mat, if you have a pacemaker or any electronic device that's inserted for like pain management or
mhm.
pacemaker, anything that has a battery to it, is an absolute no. If you
No,
have
to bring it up.
deep vein thrombosis, absolute no.
Mhm.
That kind of a couple of those things. Red light therapy. It has more to do with photosensitivity. Some people say that if you have had active cancer, like skin cancer, you shouldn't use it. So I guess I would definitely, to your point, consult a doctor, can do the research, and make sure that you know what you're getting into, making
Yes.
sure that this product is something that you can use
Yeah.
before you try anything.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, is there other recovery uh, magic tools that you have in your toolbox? Magician
um,
puppy?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing is, and go back to it, is just diet and exercise. Like I think it really truly is lifestyle. Like, there's a lot of buzz around NAD right now and IV treatments, and I think that there's definitely some great things to those. A great addition to your health and fitness and wellness journey. IV treatments can definitely help your body heal if you have the right nutrients, especially if your diet isn't necessarily the best. But nutrition, looking into your nutrition. If you do have an autoimmune disease, if you're having any joint issues, like watching your gluten intake, watching your sugar intake, watching your alcohol and coffee intake, like there's so many things out there that you can do to help yourself. I think, and I believe anybody that's listening to your podcast is on their own health and wellness journey.
Self-journal. Sure.
And they're not looking, they have the mindset of helping themselves, whereas a lot of people in I think in the past are more looking for a pill to take, or an easy out, and none of this is easy. It's knowing yourself, knowing what works for you. Try things out and give it a good solid shot before but it all starts with diet and exercise. It really
Mhm,
truly
mhm.
does.
That's the
And
foundation.
sleep.
I think
Huh?
sleep, diet, exercise are the
Yes.
foundation. So you
Yeah.
can do any other great thing, but if you don't try to master that,
Yeah.
if you don't not try, but if you don't put like a lot of effort is to master that, it's like everything will fall apart. So
Yeah, and sleep has been probably one of my biggest challenges my whole life. So, and
Mm,
I do know that it doesn't matter if I eat well and I don't drink and I don't have coffee, and if I'm not sleeping, it nothing seems to work. Like it just isn't going to help the journey. The body goes into fight or flight. Your body, you get this natural inflammatory response. Like it's not good. So, sleep is
sure.
huge. It really is.
So would you say that your sleep is good now, or you still have
Better. It's
trouble
definitely
to?
better. Yeah, I definitely I worked really hard on it. I worked really hard on it. So, I have a nice, nighttime routine. I have my whole thing. It's in, I still have my challenges here and there, but yeah, I definitely it's much better, and I know the whole world is a different place when you get a good night's sleep. So,
Oh yeah,
um
yeah.
yeah.
And
What about
so I'm
you? What
doing.
do you use aside from all this stuff? I know you're into biohacking. Um what are some things that you do? Just maybe you have something that I don't know about.
Yeah, I mean, I think I protect my mind. So my mind is like, so I want to live in a beautiful state every day.
Mm,
So I think
I
this
love
is
that.
like, we talk about foundation. So yes, sleep. I mean, in terms of eating, I'm always careful about what I'm eating. People around me, my friends, they tell me that like I'm crazy. I'm like picky. Okay, I don't eat gluten. I don't take milk. I don't take sugar. The only sugar I
Mhm.
take it's dark chocolate. That's it.
Oh, it's so good.
Um, yeah. So I'm in terms of nutrition, I'm very stiff. I'm more flexitarian right now, I would say. So I'm more open to like not be too rigid because I
Yeah.
found that being so rigid sometimes like the with the interaction of all the people and in a restaurant I can be like a mess, if I want to pick something in a menu that doesn't exist, so I ask the chef to change the menu because I don't want this and that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
so anyway, so nutrition I master it. Sleep I love it. I have my Whoop, and I would say every day I check it and I try to
Mhm.
reflect on what I've done in the past days so I can kind of understand like what I need to change to make sure it's more optimum.
Yeah.
Um, but when I want to go back to my mindset. I think accepting all the events in my life, being in that vibe of like, the events come to me and go out, like
Yep.
just like accept. So it just make my days flows better. My energy is always positive. So I think this is really, really important. I'm moving like every week, every day. Like I do an hour of like exercising, so that's really important. I have a
Mhm.
coach. I firmly believe that we need to be surrounded like with expert. So
Absolutely.
and I'm actually looking to have a like alternative medicine doctor that will follow, like a longevity expert doctor,
Oh yeah.
really help me go to another limit. I just did the stem cell therapy. I did a full IV of stem cell in my
Mhm.
in my body. Um, so what else I'm doing? I don't know. I do the sauna, the cold plunge. The main reason why I decided to create the podcast is like for me, health is so important, and I don't
Mhm.
want to live beyond 100 alone.
Yeah.
Like I want to be with
Exactly.
my family. I want to be with you. I want to
Yep.
be with all the people I love and the people around me. So,
Yeah, but it's
um,
also it's also you don't want to live to be 100 and be in a wheelchair. It's
no,
quality of life. So that's it. It really is it's quality over quantity for me. I like if I live to be 110, that's great, but I want to still be able to go
absolutely.
hiking and do the things like you said. You want to be skiing at 95. That's your goal. So I love
Yes.
that. I
Yeah.
think that's great. And starting the journey now is what's going to dictate whether you can do that or not.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. When I'm doing something else, I kind of feel I'm losing my time, like
Yeah.
I feel I have something big to create in this world. And I think the podcast is just like the red carpet to something bigger. So,
I love that. I absolutely love it. Another thing that I've gotten into and I've kind of been nerding out on actually that I would love to share with you if you don't mind.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, is when you're talking about your health and mindset and all of that. I was actually going to a doctor, and my hormones are just completely dysregulated,
Mhm.
and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And every woman in their 30s and 40s, kind of you start going through a
Yeah.
process. And so I couldn't figure out what was happening. And this is a guy that has a biomed spa. He's really into longevity, and he's into looking at the body as a whole. So he did this nervous system regulation test on me. And what he found was that, yes, we did blood work too as well. But he's like, yeah, your hormones are completely off. He's like, but it's because of your brain. He's like, your brain
Mm.
is in fight or flight constantly.
Ooh.
My progesterone at the time was supposed to be 17 and it was zero point 0.2. And he's like, what's happening is your adrenal glands and your cortisol levels are so high that you are completely depleted, that it's pulling from your progesterone and you have none left. And so
Oh,
you're
wow.
just completely like, I felt like I was vibrating out of my skin. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was a mess. I was an absolute mess. And I'm like, I get that my life is stressful, but it's not that bad. Like, life is good. So I couldn't figure it out. So what he did is we actually did this QEEG, and this and it helps kind of stimulate your brain
That's it?
to rewire the neuroreceptors and actually get some solid connections, so that it got my brain out of fight or flight. I'm thinking more clearly, brain fog's going
Mm.
away, my sleep is better naturally,
Yeah.
like even
Sure.
just from doing that. So it's really exciting, some of the advances that are coming up, and how, like he said, he's like, your brain tells your body what to do. So it's kind of like, so if your brain's kind of, if your wiring's all messed up in your brain from years of trauma, or actually drinking, or whatever it is that your lifestyle is not, not happy, then it's gonna screw up all your what it's telling your body hormonally to do. So
Mhm.
I think that there's so many doctors that are just like, all right, here's hormones, hormones, hormones. Guys take testosterone, women take this, and
Mhm.
if you're not getting it at its source, you're just dysregulating it even more.
Mm.
So it's a really cool way of looking at the body.
Yes.
And I do feel calmer. I do feel like, my mental clarity is so much better, and I'm not like, I don't feel like I'm like having all this nervous energy and having to wander around the house. I couldn't even handle being around myself, let alone any of my friends or family. So it's a really
But we're
cool,
so hard
there's
on ourselves, I mean,
yeah.
we tend to be hard on ourselves, and I mean, it's
Yes,
we're such in a attention, like, with the phone notification and like
I
the
know.
instant
Yeah.
gratification. So we're getting into, I mean, we're in the era where we need way more to protect our mind, and
Yes.
our peace, I would say. So
Yeah, and our kids, like, I worry
yeah.
about my children. They don't have cell phones yet; they're too young. But just,
Mhm.
it really is their. I see their attention span, less and less and less, because they're constantly stimulated from everything that they're doing. And so,
Right.
just getting back and slowing down, and we go for walks, and I'm like, wow, look at that rock! Like, that rock is amazing. So I try to like get them to slow down and look at specific things, so that they're actually focusing on the present and not being like, all right, what's next? What's next? So like, playing a game while they're doing this, where they're hanging out. Yeah. So, really, it's important, and I think that, our generation really is the last generation that didn't have, that is going to remember not what life was like before you had, iPhones and iPads and all the things. I was raised with four channels on the TV. Like, there's
The
nothing. We didn't have
concept
anything like that. So,
is, I had the
so
antenna, that you needed to
exactly. Yeah,
put
you had
in
to
a
like mess
certain
the
spot
antenna. Yeah.
so it works.
So
So
I don't mean to age us, but it's
no,
true.
no,
It's like we are the last generation
yeah.
that is going to have a childhood like that. So it's not. I don't think it's a matter of if it's going to affect our children. It's a matter of how and what you can do to help regulate them and keep them more mindful, and keep their mindset good and not overstimulated. And so I notice a huge difference in my kids
Mhm.
when they've had too much technology, or if they've had too much going on, and we really got to scale it back. And so I'll have like days where there's zero technology, no TVs, no nothing, and we go for walks and we play games and we play sports and we do fun things. But I know that makes a huge difference. So we've
So
got
true.
a little off subject as far as recovery
No, I
goes,
mean,
but
it's
I do think it's part of it. I think lifestyle, everything lifestyle, intertwines with it. And brain health, I think, is a huge. They're
yeah.
making huge advancements, but I think it's really important to all of it.
And I mean, I'm so glad that we discuss about that, because, like, I feel like, I have a 5 years old daughter, and more I grow into my fathership role. I mean, I understand it's so important. Like, that's our role as a parent, to show them how to be and to teach them. And the best way to teach, I believe, it's like by the example, that how we show
Exactly.
up. And
Yep.
if I always have my phone and text in front of her, or if I'm not fully present in the
Yeah.
moment,
Yep.
um, yeah. And
That's very true.
yeah, and there's one thing, like, I'm I love extreme sport. I love going to, pushing the limit. And in my toolkit of longevity, I put safety now. And maybe for a lot of people, it might be like they don't really understand. But for me, like I tend to think I'm invincible. Like nothing will kill me.
Yeah.
So, but now that I see myself, okay, I want to ski at 95 years old on the top of a mountain. I'm like, okay, but I need to put my seat belts. I need
Yep.
to put a helmet when I do ski. I need to do like the
Yep.
the stuff that when I was a kid I thought like, oh, that's stupid.
Yep.
So now I really see safety as a component of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
No, definitely. It's they're calculated risks rather than uncalculated risks like we used to do.
Mhm.
It's just I still want to push the envelope. I think challenging yourself is important. I think
It's
it helps with
important.
brain health. It helps with
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, you just have to calculate. And I think once you have children too, that changes things, or at least it did for me.
Yes,
There's
yes and no.
consequences.
Yes, but I think it's something like, let's say, for example, my ski injury. If I would have listened my inner voice, I would have not
Yes.
jumped that cliff to
Yep.
impress people, and because I like inside of me, I knew it was dangerous. Like I
Yep.
didn't. It was a tough landing,
Yep.
but I've done it, so that was not safe,
Yep.
and I tear my meniscus, and now I'm on that path to
Yep.
recover. But I
Yeah.
mean, I think we need to listen our inner voice and just like be more safe, not be
Yep.
fear driven by fear, but just you know have
I
fear to
think what
alert
people are
us.
nowadays are so detached from their inner voice, though. I think is I think that we don't. I think a lot of people doubt themselves, and they don't. They can't really differentiate whether it's coming from fear or instinct and intuition. So, and I think that has a lot to do with the mindfulness and getting to know and connecting and connecting to yourself and all of that. So, I think that that's a whole nother podcast so that we could go
Oh
down. I'm
yeah.
definitely down for that, but I do think that's a huge part of it too. Yeah,
Mhm.
is just a complete disconnection from your own intuition.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yes, there's so many subjects, so I'm so
Yeah,
excited. Like, so my goal this year is really to interview one person per week, and I want to I want to discuss so many subjects in terms of health and longevity. But there's more and more I'm getting into spirituality and the mindset, and I mean, so I think everything, all of that is important to live a long life,
I
but a happy life and
could
healthy.
not agree more. I've been really, really mindset's been a huge thing, and
Uh-huh.
just it goes into perspective, and you can get really crazy and woo woo with it, or you can get more scientific. But there is what's really great about it is there's a lot of actual tangible research that's really proving the manifestation aspect of things, and mindset and perspective, and how much it does change it alters obviously your perspective and your happiness, but it also alters the outcome of events. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to explore that, because
Uh,
it's a whole like rabbit hole that you could go down that's really fun, and you get some crazy avenues of it, but you can some really cool
mhm.
dimensions. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm so glad to have that conversation with you. I'm curious, so if people want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So we are on Instagram and Facebook at Active Bodyworks. It's spelled ACTIVE and then BODYWORX. It has an X at the end, which messes everybody up. www.activebodyworks.com is our website. You can always contact us at 480-219-0590. But yeah, I'm always up for any conversation. Anybody has any concerns, any questions, they just need help and direction on maybe a product to buy. Like, honestly, I'm open for anything. I just want to help as a large community as much as I can.
That's
So
beautiful.
anything I can do to help people on their journey is I'm definitely I'm down for.
That's beautiful. And just to conclude, I'm curious, like, are you planning to add other things to your recovery center? Are you planning to have another location, or what's your vision for the next 5 years in your own journey?
My own journey. I actually have space in the recovery room that right now is filled with just basically a stretching area with massage guns, and and all the stretching, stretching ropes and foam rollers and all that kind of stuff, in the hopes of trying to figure out what new technology to upgrade the room. The real purpose of that room is I really want it to be self-sufficient. So there's a ton of technology that's out there and it's really cool, but it needs a technician, or it needs and
Yeah.
I really want everything to be self-serve in there, so they can just come in, use it. They're not bothered by anybody. You can
Mm.
utilize whatever you need. So I will definitely be upgrading the room for sure and moving things around as technology improves and as I find better options for my clients. I would definitely love to open another location. I think it would be great. I'm kind of, this one's only been open for a little bit less than a year. We're kind of ironing out all the problems and getting the processes and protocols all fine tuned, and it's been really, really well received. Part of it's the area that I live in. A lot of people take health and wellness as, do make it a priority. So
Mhm.
expansion of the business is always an opportunity, but really just figuring out more avenues to, not to sound so, reiterate what I just said, but I really just want to help people. So whatever, I'm kind of open. You're talking about the mindset and how you're feeling. I'm really kind of surrendering to the process. I feel like the universe or God or whatever kind of just served this to me on a silver platter, and it's been an amazing, awesome journey to do this and to help people. And whether that happens through another location or a different spin-off of a different job, then or business opportunity, then I don't really know how I'm gonna do. I just want to help. I really truly just want to help people.
Yeah, we
And
hear it.
so whatever I can
Mhm.
do.
That's amazing. It's amazing. So you should join come with me in May. I think it's May or June, the biohacking
The
event.
biohacking in
Yeah,
Austin,
it's
yeah.
amazing. I'm sure
Will
you
you actually email me more information? Because I would
absolutely.
definitely be interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's in your neck of the wood, it's
Yeah.
pretty close to
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. It's not too far away. That's an easy flight. So
Is there something else you would like to add before we finish?
no, I think we covered everything. Like I said before, I just really I can't stress enough on people doing their own research,
Mhm.
and making sure that they're getting quality products. Because the last thing that I want to do is have somebody use a red light and be like, "Oh, this didn't
Mhm.
work." So just make sure that you're getting quality products. And consult a doctor or a professional if you have any questions or concerns about contraindications or what to do or what not to do. And just I really like it when people advocate for themselves. So it's
Mhm.
be your own advocate, ask questions, and find whatever way you can to heal yourself.
Wonderful. I love it. Thank you so much, Sophie. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
for all the audience, please subscribe, please comment, and we'll put more information below in the comments. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.